Poštovane dame i gospodo,
Dear ladies and gentlemen,
i odmah bude mir, kako je to moć mikrofona.
you can see the power of the microphone.
Poštovane dame i gospodo,
Dear
dragi
ladies and
uzvanici, srdačno vas
gentlemen,
pozdravljam
dear
na, ovo je baš jedna
guests,
lijepa
I
ovako stvar za reći na glas,
welcome you
regionalnom
here
investicijskom
at the
samitu Zagorje
Regional
2025.
Investment
Objasnit ću zašto Zagorje 2025, ali
Summit
mislim da već
in Zagorje
sama ova uvodna
2025.
zove za jedan aplauz.
Please give an applause
U ovom fenomenalnom prostoru
at this phenomenal space called the Regenerator. At the beginning of this year, we have gathered here with, for a great reason, Zagorje Krapinsko County proudly bears the title European Entrepreneurial Region for 2025. That is an award that was awarded by the European Committee of the Regions. This prestige title brings with itself a significant responsibility, obligation to implement concrete activities to strengthen entrepreneurship. This is why we are here today to present our planned activities and we wish to have a successful partnership between entrepreneurship with the public sector, because we have been given the title of the European Entrepreneurial Region for 2025. On behalf of the county prefect Željko Kolar, I can see that he applauded. County prefect deputy Mrs. Petek and President of the County Assembly Zlatko Šorša, we welcome. We have information that she's on the way. Zrinka Raguš from the State Secretary of the Ministry of Regional Development and Envoy of the Ministry of Regional Development, Mr. Šime Erlić. Marko Vešligaj, he is the member of the European Parliament.
Kata
Tüttő, I hope my accent was all right. First Vice President of the Commission for Climate Change, Environment and Energy of the European Committee of the Regions, Mr. Matija Posavec. He is the county. Jasenko Augustan Pentek and Mrs. Anita Krop. They are members of our parliament. And Mr. Golubić, also member of Croatian Parliament. Thomas Voben, Director for Legislative Works at European Committee of the Regions. He will be joining us online. Special welcome our guests from the regions that also hold the title European Entrepreneurial Region. Marta Marinho Reguero, Director General of Entrepreneurship and Social Economy of Galicia. Mr. Marcin Vajda, Director of the Department for Regional Development and European Funds at the Office of the Marshal of the Mazovietske Voivodeship in Warsaw. And our host in this great space, Center of Urban Culture, Regenerator, Dr. Valentina Đurek, Delegate of the Mayor of the City of Zabok and Project Manager. Let us welcome also Mr. Thomas Schlatt from the Foreign Investors Association. Mr. Anto Bilić, Mayor of Trogir. Maybe and maybe not. Also, warm welcome all mayors and representatives that are with us here today. Director of the Croatian Chamber of Economy, Krapina County, Mrs. Janja Kantolić, and all the entrepreneurs present here today. Head of the County Chamber of Crafts, Nenad Kučić, along with the craftsmen present. And warm greetings to the directors and managers of county and state institutions and companies. Our program today will give us an overview of the key topics that shape the economic development of our county, also the wider region. In the next 90 minutes, we will highlight the regional trends, support to entrepreneurship, green development plan, and how our county is developing. We are especially happy that we will have a discussion on global trends that will also reference the Mario Draghi report, which has been widely rumored in the corridors of Brussels in the last few months. We will start with a speech from the Krapinsko-zagorske county, Mrs. Vlatka Mlakar, the head of the Department for Public Procurement and EU funds from Krapinsko-zagorske county. You're already here.
Sad ćemo vidjeti mikrofon, jel taman, čekajte. Evo, malo ćemo ga, evo ga, izvolite.
Poštovane dame i gospodo, cijenjeni uzvanici. Nositi oznaku Europske poduzetničke regije...
I'm sorry, we cannot hear the speaker.
...predstavlja veliku čast. Projekt je to u okviru kojeg se prepoznaju i nagrađuju regije s izvanrednom i inovativnom strategijom poduzetničke politike. Žiri sastavljen od 12 članova predstavnika...
I apologize, there is no sound in our earphones. We are assessing applications and we award the ones with the most innovative plan. We are the first ones in Croatia with such an important title. This award has been awarded since 2011, and up until now, 39 regions have won this award. That's how we enter the circle of very developed regions such as Lisboa, Barcelona, Brandenburg. Every year, this award is awarded for 3 best and most successful regions. This year, we have Spanish region Galicia and Polish Mazowiecki Voivodeship. This important award shows our policies and how we are focused on new ideas, and it confirms that our public administration promotes entrepreneurship, innovation, and sustainable development. And also, it is a token for our entrepreneurs who show through their effort and innovative products that they are moving our economy forward. Our vision has been recognized by the European institutions, and this makes us especially happy. And we had a strong competition among the most advanced European regions. This award is an activator for numerous initiatives and projects that we will implement throughout the year, and the purpose of which is to grow our economy and entrepreneurship. The strategy is based on 3 pillars: digital transformation, then innovation and access to financing, and revitalization of urban and rural areas. We as Krapinsko-zagorske county see advances that actually benefits brought about by this award, which means positioning on the map of Europe, new attractiveness for investors, and increased visibility, which will all help us in our promotion. This award will make it easier to network and cooperate with other European regions to exchange knowledge and best practices and to strengthen our competitiveness further. And competitive region is the one that manages to attract successful companies and increase, actually, improve the standard of living of its citizens. Krapinsko-zagorske county has a potential to further strengthen its regional competitiveness provided by global trends. We are a county that follows global trends, listens to European trends, but we are also creating our own developmental framework and our own ecosystem, and we refer to our own strengths. The region, cities, and municipalities and their success is usually measured in comparison, but our county has jumped from the 3rd to 2nd category. We have become one of the most developed counties in the Republic of Croatia. So we are the only county that has growth from the second to third category. We are especially happy that out of 32 local government units that exist in Krapinsko-zagorske county, 20 units has gone into the higher or switched into the higher level of development. This is a composite indicator that includes various other indicators. Krapinsko-zagorske county has grown by all indicators, so unemployment rate, our budget, level of education, and aging index. I will also refer to the dynamic of development of our region. We are positioned in the north of Croatia, and we are among the most competitive regions, but our rate of growth is the same as all other counties in the north part of Croatia. So since 2011 to 2025, our GDP has grown at the rate of 41.8%. The growth of investments for this period was 183%. Our income or revenues has increased, as well as the number of businesses. The number of people employed was 41,751, and unemployment records show 1,560 people. Competitiveness of each region can be seen based on the number of employed per capita. We are determined to succeed. We use the opportunities provided by EU funds in order to transform our region by creating projects that we use as a leverage to develop entrepreneurial initiatives. We want to be a good example of sustainable, green, and energy-efficient project through the process of circular economy. In 2023, we were especially successful when it comes to drawing funds from EU funds, and we had the best result in the Republic of Croatia, and we got 64 million euros of 531 euro per capita. We were the best ones in the Republic of Croatia. We want our region to be an example to others in Europe. Financial Times in 2024 has put us in the top 10 of small regions in Europe with a strong, clear, and concrete strategy for encouraging investment and building an entrepreneurial ecosystem. In 2025, we won this prestigious award of European Entrepreneurial Region. We want to create an open economic structure and to position Krapinsko-zagorske county as an attractive investing destination, and we want to attract key investors who can create better paid jobs with better content and better knowledge, taking into account local labor market, since we only have around 1,500 unemployed people, and we also want to create investments that will create better paid jobs, and we hope to attract people working in some other counties and maybe some who emigrated to come back to our county, because they will recognize the quality of life and they will be able to have an income the same as they do now. So construction, civil engineering are a good starting point when it comes to the development of our county. The value of such investments is given by external impacts of these investments, or local supply chains that are included here, then generating material costs and investment costs that will be created when it comes to investment. Special value has an investment that generates demand for innovative inputs, for example, IT services or green construction that also involves the installation of renewable energy sources. Such investments can encourage the creation of local startups and companies and strengthen the existing companies. These results, so I mentioned 2023 as a especially successful for us when it comes to drawing EU funds, and 2023 were among top 10 small regions of the future. In 2025, we are European Entrepreneurial Region, so this all helps us to continue working on strengthening our competitiveness and growing on European competitiveness rate. We will continue to strengthen our competitiveness because competitive economy requires competitive public administration, which means that we need to be innovative and completely digitized in order to be able to answer all the needs or meet all the needs of our people and economy. We will continue to live our vision. This is green and smart county, inclusive society, inclusive development, and circular economy in order to meet our potential. I believe that together, in cooperation with craftsmen and entrepreneurs, within a strong ecosystem, which is getting stronger every day, we will achieve innovative solutions to use all the potentials provided by this green, and I would dare to say, fairy tale county. It is great to live and create in European Entrepreneurial Region. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Makar, for this interesting presentation and great figures. Thank you so much. We will continue, and as we mentioned, this summit is organized in the Center of Urban Culture, known under the name Regenerator or Regenerator. Therefore, I invite Ms. Valentina Jurek, envoy of the Mayor of the City of Zabok and project manager of Regenerator project and project manager at Regija, for opening remarks. Please take the floor.
Dear guests, it is my honor to welcome you on behalf of the Mayor of the City of Zabok, Mr. Hanžek, to warmly greet you here at Regenerator. This is a symbol of our vision that boldly transformed our industrial heritage in a space for creativity and innovation. In this space, we don't have only walls, but we have the power of community that believes in itself and in the future. Regenerator is not a building. It is a place where we gather for concerts, for exhibitions, to exchange visions and to lead forward our local community. I'm glad that we are the host of this Regional Investment Summit, Zagorje 2025. What we are proud of here in Zabok is that this space has a sense of local patriotism. The industry regeneration, our factory that is across the road, has produced everything that is in these three buildings. And from Sveti Križ Začetje, the local factory, Prostoria, produced all the furniture that you can see here. So the people who live here, we work hard, and you can see that. For this Regional Investment Summit, I believe that we will hear good discussions here today. Here in Zabok, in all our county, we have productive domestic and foreign investors. You can see that in projects that we have realized or we are planning to realize on the county level. When realizing projects, we need administration that will monitor the project. It's important for investors, but also for projects such as Regenerator. This project was funded by EU funds in the amount of 3.2 million euros. Total value of the project is 4.5 million euros. With our colleagues from the city of Zabok who worked with me to prepare the project, I would like to say thank you to Mikelić Vreš architects who devised this concept of symbiotic management of space. You are in a space. This whole center has 3 buildings. We are currently in the regenerator space. All 3 buildings, they're all of different heights, made out of different materials. This building is a steel construction. We used recycled steel. Other building is made out of concrete. Again, we used recycled concrete. And the third building is made out of polycarbonates. Each building has its own purpose. All 3 buildings are connected with warm communication. This is also a concert space, but on the first floor we have a music studio. Close by is a high school for art and design. And there we have students that and they can use this space for them to creatively express themselves. The middle building is for the entrepreneurs. There you can find spaces for startups. You will have an opportunity to visit that building. They have a coffee shop and we have a gallery on the first floor. Third building has a small cinema with 32 seating spaces. On the first floor, we have spaces for NGOs, and on the second floor, we have a hostel. So all 3 buildings have different purposes, but serve for our local community. And we want to become another urban center like Zagreb agglomeration. We have on the central square, below the square, 24 suns. And we also use renewable energy sources to warm the square. So our regenerator is an example how to connect an identity with the values of the new European Bauhaus. We want to promote inclusive, renewable. On behalf of the city of Zagreb, I would like to say thank you to our institutions that gave us the opportunity to realize this project. So this is the Ministry of EU Funds and Regional Development, and related to expert assistance, also Krapinsko-zagorske County and its institutions, Regional Climate Agency for Northwestern Croatia. So once again, to all of you, a warm thank you. And at the end, I would like for you to get a lot of good ideas, to see Zabok as an inspiration. So anyone who has goodwill and vision, what you want to achieve, I want you to have Zabok as an inspiration. So once again, thank you and good luck. Dr. Jurek, thank you very much for this warm welcome and for everything that you also already realized here in Regenerator. And I wish you more success. Now we will hear a video message from Vice President Mrs. Roxana Minzatu, from Executive Vice President of the European Commission, Social Rights and Skills. So you will need your headphones.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Marko Vešligaj, for the invitation to attend the Regional Investment Summit in Krapinsko-zagorske. I'm unable to be there with you as I am in Poland, as the flag behind me shows. I am attending here the Informal Council on Education. I'm engaging here with students, with young generation as well, discussing about how we can support them in their careers and in their lives, in their presence in society. I would have loved to be with you on the ground. I hope that I will be able to visit and work with you closely in the near future. Until then, please receive my warm congratulations for the award that the region has received, European Entrepreneurial Region 2025. That means a lot, that speaks a lot about the soul and the dynamism of the economy, of the stakeholders. We are working as well at European Commission to support with EU fund, with policies, startups, social economy, the skills that people need to be fulfilled in their jobs and in their lives. So I am really looking forward to having the opportunity to design together European policies that are responding to the needs and aspirations of your region as best as possible. Have the best of success in the summit today, and we will be, I think, seeing each other very soon on the ground in Krapinsko-zagorske. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mizatu, on this video message. And at the end of this part, we will hear from Zrinka Raguš, State Secretary from the Ministry of Regional Development and EU Funds of the Republic of Croatia, and Envoy of the Minister of Regional Development, Mr. Šime Erlić.
Dobrodošli, izvolite.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is my image before entering the politics. Good afternoon, and I extend a warm welcome on behalf of the Minister of Regional Development and EU Funds, Mr. Šime Erlić, on my own behalf and on behalf of the Ministry of Regional Development and EU Funds. I would especially like to greet County Prefect Kolar, our today hosts, and all other guests, as they were welcomed already. It is nice to be in Zabok today. I am first time in Krapinsko-zagorske County now. 2 days ago, on Monday, Croatia was officially visited by Mr. Rafael Fito, Commissioner for Regional Development. So in December, he said he did not choose Croatia accidentally. During one full financial perspective, Croatia has become a positive example of implementation of cohesion policy, and the visit of Mr. Fito was a good opportunity to reflect on everything that Croatia managed to achieve and to document the current situation and the future of cohesion policy and further investments in Croatia. And in the future perspective, European funds will be available to us, reminding that we successfully finalized our financial envelope using all the funds that were at our disposal, from Solidarity Fund aimed at reconstruction after the earthquake. And along with Italy, we are the most successful or efficient country in using the funds. Thanks to the targeted use of EU funds and also the national ones, we have realized numerous projects that our counties, municipalities and cities have changed for the better, and there are no parts of Croatia that has not grown and developed. I am especially happy to be here in this regenerator today. That has also been built also thank you to ITI mechanism, which is my most favorite mechanism since I come from the local level. ITI is a great mechanism that was greatly used in this regenerator, and it is truly great to be here, and I would like to congratulate you on implementation of this valuable project. In the past year, from the financial envelope, we have published more than 200 calls in the total value of 5.6 billion euros, and we will continue to do so intensively in the times ahead. In this financial period with Competitiveness and Cohesion Program, we have introduced another operational program, Integrated Territorial Program, and more than 2 billion euros will be focused on social and economic development and revitalization of all parts of Croatia, having in mind specificities of each areas, especially mountainous areas and islands. Besides, entrepreneurial innovations are high on the list of priorities when it comes to investments from EU funds, and the Ministry of Regional Development and EU funds will continue to incentivize investments in these sectors in order to encourage development of all parts of Croatia. Thanks to the investments from European funds from the past financial perspectives, SMEs have opened up have created more than 11,000 jobs. We have 44 new entrepreneurial zones, 47 incubators, entrepreneurial centers, and over 55 institutions that help with the work of SMEs. After spending more than 2 billion euros, we will continue to invest in this sector with the same intensity. New PCC, 1/4 of its allocation is aimed at entrepreneurship and innovations, and 1/3 of allocation from ITP for the same. Encouraging industries of new generation and creating new jobs with competitive salaries in Croatia, we will ensure long-term sustainable economic development. We want also to strengthen strategic partnership. We call it SPIN, attracted great interest from entrepreneurs, and we have already signed over 70 contracts for projects valued at 220 million euros that will improve services in all our regions, also including Krapinsko-zagorske County. We also increased this by 50 million euros and additionally another 50 million euros. We ensured contracting all project proposals that applied. But this is not all. In this year, we plan a new call, a new 320 million euros of grants for entrepreneurship and innovations. With all this and other investments in this area, we expect another new calls in the amount of 380 million euros, and we plan until 2030 to achieve 3% of GDP to be aimed for research and development. All measures are planned for harmonized regional development, having in mind specific needs of each region. This is a key link that will improve the life of our people and contribute to the development of all Croatia. I wish you a successful conference, but I would also like to congratulate you all who contributed to Krapinsko-zagorske County becoming European Entrepreneurial Region 2025. I want you to exchange knowledge and experience today, but also to use it to plan new valuable projects for the benefit of your county and our entire country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all speakers who gave an additional push for further work. I think that today's discussions will, exchange of experiences will further strengthen us in implementing the activities that await us as part of this title. This title has been awarded since 2010 to regions and cities that stand out for an innovative approach to entrepreneurship development. To date, this prestigious award was awarded to 39 regions and cities from 17 EU member states. For 2024, this title was given to Famalicão, Portugal, South Moravia and Brno from Czech Republic, and Friuli, Venezia, Giulia from Italy. In 2025, this title will be held by the regions of Masovian Voivodeship for Poland, Galicia, Spain and Krapinsko-zagorske County. And more about the significance of the title, we will hear for Mrs. Kata Tüttő, first Vice President of the Commissions for Climate Change, Environment and Energy Commission, European Committee of the Regions. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, I got a different microphone. It's really strange because today we are talking about investment, talking about business, and it was all women speaking. This don't usually happen. I'm happy and absolutely honored for the invitation. I love to come to Croatia. Usually when I come to Croatia from Budapest, I don't stop until I see the sea, but I definitely have to come back to this region. I read a lot I read that there are fairies somewhere around, some fairy tales. So when there is like no fog, I'll come back and look for those fairies. I want to thank also Marco Vesliga. He's my colleague and I lost him from the Committee of the Regions. I'm really sorry. But okay, maybe his position is also useful in the European Parliament. We will see. What is his role? What was his role in the Committee of the Regions? What do? We bring common sense to Brussels. We bring our local experiences, what is happening with our people, to the decision making. Because you can show a lot of numbers that everything's going fine, but if our people don't feel that way, those numbers don't mean anything. Our people have to feel it that things are going well. And if I look around the world, I'm not sure they feel it. Okay, so what is the European Committee of the Regions? We say we are the voices of cities and regions from all across the Europe. We have governors of regions, mayors of big cities, but also mayors from smaller cities and towns. We bring our realities to Brussels. Partly because there are a lot of things, a lot of targets. I know you all know that. We decided many things to become climate neutral. We have to mitigate, we have to adapt to the changes. We have a lot of goals on biodiversity, but at the same time, we have to become competitive, we have to become affordable, we have to be secure, circular, okay? And many of those things, many of those decisions has to be implemented on the local level. We have to do it. Here, also in Budapest. I was deputy mayor of Budapest in the past 5 years. I was managing all the things we are now talking about. Waste management, water management, transport, cohesion funds. Because this is what we're interested in. Cities and regions. This is the hottest issue now, cohesion policy. But what does it mean, cohesion policy? Because we hear a lot about it. Okay, first, when you hear, and if you're a politician, you hear cohesion policy, you think about the money. We think a lot about the money. But it's not just the money, okay? We call it is a glue. It is the most important investment tool, the glue in Europe that will make Europe stronger by connecting all the different territories, connecting cities, connecting the people on those cities, connecting businesses, and this way it will make Europe stronger. But we see all the gaps. So cohesion policy is supposed to build the bridges. It works best. This money works best when it is added to the national money. So you have your country, you do your things, and you get some plus to 2 things in line with the common goal. Cohesion policy doesn't really work when it is replacing the national funds. And this is a mistake my country maybe makes, maybe other country makes, but doesn't help. Okay, cohesion policy in reality, what did it mean like for city? I don't want to tell you what does it mean for you. Maybe this building is built also in that framework. In Budapest, we could renovate the most important metro line in Budapest that carries more passengers than the whole national railway system. Now 99% of the wastewater is cleaned and put back to the Danube River in the result, the Danube River is swimmable again, like after 4 or 5 decades. We invested in local energy production and energy security. That's a real big issue for us. We invested in hospitals, in childcare. We built in Hungary, more than 600 kilometers of road, tram, railway, metro. So maybe you can feel how painful it is when cohesion funds are not arriving. We talk a lot about challenges in the Committee of the Regions we face. And this is why it's important that we bring our realities to the decision making. Because every single city and region has something different, okay? Some faces depopulation. People are going away from those cities. Other cities are growing, and they have a problem with not having enough land, not having enough housing. And you have to keep that in mind, that you have to face those at the same time. We talk a lot about green jobs on the European level, but every time Germany says that they will create 1 million new jobs in the green economy, I cry. I don't know if you do, because it means that my engineers, my Hungarian engineers will go to Germany. Brain drain is a reality. I always say that if I had all the money to refurbish the housing stock in Hungary, I wouldn't have the people to do it. And that is a problem. Climate change. We talk a lot about mitigation. That is the easy part. What is mitigation? You count CO2 emission. At least you can count it everywhere. It's the same molecule. And you can have a plan how to reduce it. The tricky part is the adaptation. We see very hot summers, but water, I think that is the most sensitive issue. Because we see lack of water, not enough water, and we see too much water happening in the same city, in the same region within 2 months. I was preparing last year for not having enough water. We were preparing people to use less water. And then we had 3 floods in 1 year. So what to adapt to? And I think that is where very, very tricky, because, okay, you cannot at the same time, because you never have enough money, you cannot adapt to extremities. Energy transition, digitalization. This year, the children who are born this year, they are called the beta generation. What does beta generation mean? It means that their life, all scope, will be affected by artificial intelligence. So beta generation is born this year, but still we have a lot of regions where we don't have access to the digital highway. We have a lot of people have 0 skills to be part of this. Challenges of biodiversity, transforming industrial areas, challenges of tourism. Some cities face too much tourists. A lot of others would like to have more. And of course, always this power game. Centralization versus decentralization. Regulation, deregulation. You want to protect your people, you want security, but if you over-regulate, this system will be very rigid and won't be flexible enough, won't be able to adapt. And when you talk about businesses, and here today we talk about entrepreneurs, you need to have flexibility. Over-centralization, over-regulation does not support businesses, so you have to find this balance. The more people are there on the ground, putting in their ambition, putting in their energy, the more resilient Europe will become. This is what we believe in. I think we who sit in this room, So now I come to this award. So why do the Committee of the Regions have this European Entrepreneurial Award? Because we see that there are a lot of challenges, that there are a lot of mission impossible goals, and still there are ambitious politicians, ambitious regions who make it possible in their own way, in their own innovative way. So the award is first to say, like, bravo, bravo to this region, bravo to Krapinsko-zagorske County, bravo to Galicia, bravo to the Mazovi region in Poland. But the second is that we want to show others, we want to show other citizens, other politicians, that it is possible. Without local ambition, all these goals will not be possible. But creating competition, I believe in creating competition, in boosting ambition. This award, I hope it helps. I will maybe listen to how it works in this region, but this is what we do, because you balance a lot of things. Where do you want to focus? On the urban area or the rural development? You have the climate goals and you have the economic cost. You always have to stay affordable. You always have to see the social aspect of things, how to combine innovation and tradition. And these success stories that were shown and will be shown today, this gives hope. So thank you very much for the invitation again, and bravo, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Zahvaljujemo. Od srca hvala
Thank you to Mrs. Kata Tüttő for these great insights.
Regije za regionalni razvoj i jačanje poduzetničkog okruženja. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much for stopping by on your way to Adriatic City, Adriatic Coast, and sharing your wonderful experiences with us. Thank you so much once again. Dame I gospodo, evo danas smo već više puta čuli.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard so many times how important it is to manage resources, especially when it comes to global efforts for reducing CO2 emissions and environmental protection. It's important to integrate these measures into all segments in order to achieve green and digital development. More about this and measures implemented in Krapinsko-zagorske County we'll hear from Mr. Domac, who is the director of Northwest Croatia Regional Energy and Climate Agency. So you're here, so please take the floor. Thank you for this introduction. Dear country prefect, friends and guests, today, if anyone can praise Zagorje, I think I am the right person to do that, because I'm not born in Zagorje. I do work here, but my work also extends beyond Zagorje, so I can be very objective when it comes to what is happening here. So this European Green Deal for Zagorje is a very current topic in a region that is very successful in entrepreneurship at a time when the entire European Green Deal is being doubted when we think about where we as Europeans stand in this storm at the eastern part of the continent, in this new storm that is coming from the other part of the Atlantic at the time. That will not be simple, it will be challenging, it will be weird, different, more ambitious, that will require us to do more. So to talk about Green Deal makes a lot of sense. A green, not something that is weird, avant-garde, luxurious, only for the rich ones, as we often did in Europe, but this was wrong. We should think about green as something that is understandable, but was not communicated well. So I want to share with you that in fashion industry, 10% of CO2 emissions, of greenhouse emissions is created. This is an important fact, but also green is what can provide safety, resilience, democracy to our people in Europe. the way of life we believe in. I wouldn't like to live anywhere else in Europe, far from that. I like to see other places in the world, but what is happening in Europe and the way we live is much better and much different. We are a special part of the world, and I think many are wrong from the other side of the Atlantic, and all the ones who think it's so easy to be better than Europe. We have to think ourselves how to be better, be faster, more successful, more competitive. How can we do what we have done always in a different and better ways than others? Energy is of key importance in that matter. The energy that we in Europe unfortunately don't have. We don't have enough natural gas, oil, we don't have enough nuclear power. What is happening here? Our entrepreneurs, due to this, and because we don't have our own energy sources and we are not in control of it, we are not competitive enough. And then we find ourselves in a situation where the prices of gas vary in Europe much more than in other parts of the world. So electricity price is higher because we are not controlling our energy sources. And then it becomes irrelevant whether you import energy from Russia or from Qatar, Middle East, US. As long as you don't have your own energy sources, that's not good. Europe invests a lot into renewable energy sources, and I will actually show in this story I'm telling you today how we are also investing a lot in Zagorje in this respect. We are not the leaders in some things. What we used to do in the past, or 2014, or whenever, is irrelevant. Even this award will become past. The point is to focus on the future and how are we in Zagorje and in the whole Europe be successful, be a model, an example of how things should be done. It can be weird how we as a small region can be an example for the EU. You will see how. Compared to what is happening in Croatia, we have always been a little bit avant-garde. Croatia still does not control its own energy sources. Our own supply has never been lower. I use any opportunity where I speak publicly to point out that in 2024 we have reached only 44.5 of our own energy sources from our own supplies, which should raise alarms. So in the first part, before I start with the examples of what we are doing and especially what we will be doing in Zagorje, renewables, green energy, there is no county that is more connected to the word green and nature. This is it, clean energy that can guarantee advancement, stability, and safety. The speaker before me also said that this can guarantee savings and security in Europe. This is something that we have to have in mind, and in order to be able to say, let us make Europe great again. Italian Prime Minister Letta has published a report where he showed how important it is to work together, how EU member states are insufficiently competitive and, of course, too small to be globally competitive. Some read, some talk about this, but they haven't read the report by the former president of the European Central Bank, Mr. Draghi, who showed that we have to be quicker, we have to create projects, we have to decarbonize. This is a long report. Of course, he said many things. We have to decarbonize all this in order to be competitive. And this is what we have been doing in Zagorje. Let us see examples and let us see what we have to show for, and especially what we will be doing in the future. And what is the guarantee that we will be able to implement this in Zagorje is the efficiency of the team doing this, gathered together by County Prefect Mr. Kolar. And the indicator is the EU funds in the last year, not because of the money. I don't think the amount of money is of key importance. And also the prosperity of the region or the nation can be built on EU funds. This is wrong. But key message of this slide is that we can be efficient and that we have an efficient team that will work on that. The story of Zagorje started a long time ago. We have reconstructed schools in an energy manner a long time ago. We had a loan from European Investment Bank, and we also managed to reduce our capital. And this is something that EU funds will start introducing next year. European awards are not rare in our county. It is not rare that we also have in mind our citizens. We had a tender where we also co-financed new facades, and in order to achieve energy savings, we also had a Lena fund together with Zagreb County, where we brought together 57 cities and municipalities. We created a huge investment project, and some of the mayors, for the first time in Croatia, created the ESCO model. And this is the story from Draghi's report. Aggregate, speed up. Aggregation is an old word here. We did that in the past, and we are doing it in the way that the best ones in Europe do it. What we did first in Croatia, which is a model, but can also be compared to Draghi's report, is when he says that we have to connect private capital with EU funds. We did this at the General Hospital in Zabok. This is the first PPA project in Croatia, and the first PPA project on a hospital. Private partner built solar plant here, and this is what is used for supplying energy to the hospital. And next project is also another big plant. We also talked about climate adaptation, climate change. A new thing that we are launching, and we're also the first ones in here in Krapinsko-zagorske county, also was the first county to adopt a plan for climate adaptation. This is a project that uses AI, spatial planning, and GIS in order to detect landslides. We are using meteorological models, we are monitoring extreme conditions, and in that way we are able to create forecasts and then see where these things can happen and how we can act against them. Then we also have green infrastructure in brownfield areas, such as in Zabok. Take your time, take a look what is happening here, and then you will be able to see what we are doing. We have solar plants here, and I think very soon we will be the first ones to connect all these power plants into one big virtual power plant that will enable us to be a partner into electricity system. We are saving and delivering electricity when we need it the most. Now we are procuring 34 plants, and all these plants will be supplying our hospitals, our school, at the time when, and they will not deliver this electricity when the schools are closed and they don't need it. That's how it should be done. Artificially intelligent, not only when it comes to advanced technologies that we are using, but we also are going to use it in the next step when it comes to connecting people. So we want to connect electrical transport, older people living in rural parts of the county to reach hospitals on time. We will show you how this should be done. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the vision of Zagorje. This is the Green Deal, Green Plan that we are proudly sharing. in order for Zagorje not only to be the leader, but to build this Europe together. And we also want to raise the quality of life of people living here. That's the point of everything. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Juliju Donton for presenting concrete measures that will contribute to green and sustainable development. His proposals and experience have given you meat for thought for environment protection as the basis for future development. Now, we have a non-typical break that I would like to ask you to remain at your seats. This break is reserved for the arrival of our distinguished guest, the President of the Republic, in a few moments. So please be patient for a few minutes to welcome him. So there's always a first time. This is a new thing for me. So you can freely talk and enjoy. I think we will notice when he arrives, I think.
Bravo. Poštovanje. Ivan, Bog.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Croatia, in a second mandate, Mr. Zoran Milanović. Dear President, welcome to the Financial Regional Summit Zagorje 2025. These cameras will do their own thing. Now we will have a panel discussion that will cover the main topics. Recently published report of Mario Draghi, former president of the European Central Bank, was the basis for this discussion. This report highlights the importance of investing into digital transformation in order for Europe to remain competitive on global level. They focused on innovation and entrepreneurship as the engine of sustainable development. In the next 35 minutes, we will have an opportunity to hear thoughts of our panel participants. Professor Mrs. Sanja Sever-Mališ, Dean of the Faculty of Economics in University of Zagreb. Welcome. Professor Emeritus Ljubo Jurčić from the Faculty of Economics, University of Zagreb. I think yours is the next, and it will be moderated by Vladimir Nišević, a respectable journalist from Poslovni dnevnik newspaper. So please welcome. They have taken their seats, and for the next 35 minutes, we will be hearing from them. Thank you very much. Greetings to all. And a big warm welcome to my guests. For me, this looks like my own living room, so I hope I will not fall asleep. So you've heard about the report of Mario Draghi, competitiveness and all that. But if you would evaluate the competitiveness of Croatia within the EU, please give us your own thoughts. Where are we? Is there innovation and production? Hello to everyone. Well, I talk a lot. I don't know where to start. If you look at macroeconomic level, you have efficiency, production, what we call competitiveness, production per worker or per capita. Production per capita in Europe is average. In 2023, it was 40,000 euros per year. Here, it's around 20,000 euros per year. There is another measure that for me is a bit irritating to me. This is the purchase power parity. Like our prices were 30% lower, and then real value of our 20,000 euros is never 20,000, is 30 or 70%. For me, this is a wrong indicator. When you go to a store, we pay nominal prices from our income. So we are around the middle of European average. Of course, the business sector looks for their own interests. What we have seen and confirmed by the history, you are competitive compared to products from other countries. In pure economy, when we analyze that, we analyze what is the percentage of your share of your production do you export. So your country imports more than it exports. For example, the US, they can import and export around 15%, but less because they have a large territory. Small country like Croatia, we have a small territory, and now if the citizens of our country had higher standard through consumption, then you can't produce the majority of these products. They have to import, and they have to export to pay for this import. So countries like Croatia, like Slovenia, should have export over 60% of GDP. And we are below 40% still. And a couple of years ago, we were below 20 or 30%. GDP will be around 70 or 80 billion euros. If you observe by this basic measure, we can say we have so many cell phones, internet, and so on and so forth. They want to build self-esteem, but this is the real indicator. We are also at the business forum, like you mentioned. So the size of the GDP, so production per worker, not capita, but worker in Europe, it's 50 euros annually. In EU, in developed countries, is 70,000 euros. Slovenia is around 40,000 euros annually per worker, and we are 23,000 euros per worker annually. Mrs. Malish, let's start with you. You both work at the Faculty of Economics, so give us your thoughts. But I would like to focus more on the competitiveness. You said innovations, cell phones. I do believe that this competitiveness is based on education. It seems to me, and I've read somewhere, if you want to destroy a country, you need to destroy its education. What is our situation here? Welcome, everyone. It is my honor to be here today. I am speaking in my role of Dean of Faculty of Economics. So, Faculty of Economics at the University of Zagreb. Our goal was to put us on a global map of education, and our ambition is focused on that we are the only triple accredited faculty in Croatia, and we are among the 135 of faculties around the world that have this type of accreditation. We are very proud of this fact. This means that we do good work, and all of us are proud that European education system is one. If we talk about competitiveness, is something that EU has. But I would also like to highlight, I had an opportunity to be an accreditator for world institutions, European Union, in something is very good. Fact is that European education system is among the best in the world. We also have to be very sincere and say that Croatia, we have to tell to our students and young people, young generation, that what we give to our students, education in Croatia, is almost free. What does this mean? This means that our students, when they enroll in faculties, they can do so for free. And this is something that needs to be especially pointed out. When we talk about this in the context of education, I visited China, UK, France, Australia to give accreditation to their faculties and to see how they contribute. A special emphasis in raising competitiveness is connection between the academic community, corporations, industrial sector, and public sector. So if you have scientific research, these problems need to be in the function of resolving somebody's business problem, to contribute to be the first in the world that will resolve some issue or problem, and this will help raise our competitiveness. We need to be objective and say, and to emphasize this synergy between the academic community, transfer of technologies and innovations. I need to be objective from the role of academic community. All activities connected to green transition, energy. Europe is very good in this area. We are the front runners. We want to see the future of our children to have clean energy. What we as the economists, we observe, if we invest resources in such energy sources, this needs to be reflected from the economic point of view. We need to have lower energy costs, and this is not happening. We need to find this synergy between what is the investment cycle of the European Union compared to the results and competitiveness that result from that. So we will go back to some issues that you mentioned, but this cooperation between the academic sector and the real sector is interesting. Mr. Jurčić, I'm hearing it looks like Europe is in a good place, but Draghi's report said something different. There are certain very severe warnings that we are lagging behind. The main quality of the Draghi report is that he is warning that Europe is lagging behind America and China. In his report, in page 70 or so, he analyzes that. In other document, he analyzes this per sectors, and he's trying to find the reasons for that. What we see every day is the price of energy. If energy is a part of all products, you need to be cost effective. You need to be competitive in this area. So energy is indirectly or directly part of products. So current data regarding the situation between Ukraine and the US, Europe is importing these energy products. In the report, Europe pays for the gas 5 times more than the US now. It's winter. It's also the reason. But in the report, it's stated that electricity prices are also higher. Second reason, if you go deeper in this Draghi's report, annually, Europe per investments in R&D is around 270 billion less. If you take a look at China's development, it's no secret, GDP is 60% personal consumption, 20% investments, and 20% public consumption. If you take a look at China, since the 80s, personal consumption in China is not 60% of GDP, it's 40%. And their investments were not 20% of GDP, but 40%. So these investments have created physical results. Also, China's experience or America's experience, investing in R&D, they started with 1%. Why didn't you invest 2 or 3%? We did not create conditions for that. We need to raise the number of engineers to produce engineers. First, you need to have a bigger number of teachers. They raise the capacities, and so they raise the investments in R&D. So for them, first, what the knowledge they had, for example, in 5 villages, they wanted to copy that and to implement that in 500 other villages. So from China, first we had cheap merchandise, especially when they became a part of the WTO. But they also have products like Huawei. These are technological products. And now China can produce airplane carrier. Before, they copied Russian on Ukrainian ships, but now Now they can produce both airplane carriers and the airplanes itself. Now, China has had technological advancements. They had STEM development. America had different development, but the US or America is a completely different civilization. But the globalization they went through in the last 40 or 50 years, they influence others. We all influence others. So Draghi did not write anything that we did not already know, but he has the position, the influence. His report of 70 pages or 300 pages, these were all the already existing analysis. He just focused and highlighted on the issues that were that are the problem. I am pro-Europe, although I was characterized as anti-Europe. Those who founded Europe, those were the people who went through the First and the Second World War. They know the price of peace and solidarity, solidarity between countries in order for them to develop. I have another question. Is this the Europe that they envisaged? Until 1990, yes. After 1990, no, because it was left to capital. Because of foreign investments. If we leave everything to foreign investments, if we sell everything to foreigners, you know that, for example, England, it will become a colony. Foreign investors, they have their natural, legitimate goal, but development of the economy and the society is a responsibility of a domestic country. For example, customs is within the authority of the EU, but some things are under the authority of national governments. And some countries like Croatia, we entered the EU and our politicians think everything has been resolved. We don't have any more issues. Let us be honest, for this period by 2027, please let me finish my thought. Yes, this is when we use the funds, but our agricultural industrial production is in decline, and this is the basis of economy. Okay, yes, we use EU funds, but we have not raised our competitiveness or efficiency.
I just wanted to say that I agree with this technological advancement. It seems to me that companies in the US and China are ahead when it comes to Europe. I am happy to see many people here from business practice, and one detail from Draghi's report that I would like to emphasize is that our employers assess that their employees, 77%, do not have required digital technological skills. And these two countries are already a step ahead. And of course, this is an aspect to which we have to focus our students as well as our employees, because we know that a lifelong learning process is also important. I believe all of you know from your everyday job how much digital tools and AI tools can help you. All those using ChatGPT and other AI tools know that they're not writing reports for hours anymore, but they just put in key elements and then they generate the report. And this is an advantage. This is a competitive advantage. Who can do these things faster and more efficient is more competitive in the market. And also, I work at this faculty of economics, University of Zagreb, and we employed some Chinese on developing our programs, and Chinese engineers from Shanghai are teaching us about their circumstances, but they're also learning about ours. And they tell us that we are better at democracy, at democratic decision-making. And you can see here many representatives from European institutions in European Union, and we know that European policies are actually adopted based on various directives from different committees, subcommittees, and so on. So this is a very well-branched structure. And this also consequentially means that we are slower at decision-making, but time is money. This is, of course, they also mentioned this time and this complicated administration. It would be things can be done in a quicker way. Yes, Draghi mentions that average law is being adopted through 19 months, and this results in some fragmentation. European Union should be a single market, but when we bring it down to the level of each EU country, very often each of them protects their own market. They want to add something of their own to that regulatory framework, and this contributes to the fact that we are overburdened. And of course, this is mostly felt by SMEs. And this is the key of any economy. I will ask you a semi-private question. You mentioned lifelong learning, ChatGPT, new technologies, and so on. What do you think? You're both in touch with young people. You work at the faculty. Our education system, is it open? I have a child who is in high school, and I see that they're learning some outdated things. What do you think? How flexible our education system is, and how well it can prepare our children for this competitive future? Well, this system needs to become open. We need to open it up. And Draghi also mentioned this. But people are afraid of this technology, this way of work. And we have digitized our processes at our faculty. And sometimes students don't even have to come to the faculty in person, and they can deal with some things. But people are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs. This is something new to them. But we should emphasize in education, we are actually more concerned with demographic policy, our strategy. Actually, the fact that we are losing people, this human capital, what China says, this is something that we will have to face with. We have students who are 18, and so far there are enough of them, but everybody in the academic community is working on internationalization. We have to become internationalized. We have to open up to new markets and cooperate, because this is the only way we can help the competitiveness of economy. And I think young people are of key importance when it comes to that. The fact is that we truly want to internationalize ourselves completely as a faculty, as an institution. On the other hand, we import low-qualified, low-skilled workforce, and it is very hard to bring students due to issuing visas, regulatory barriers, and so on. When it comes to growth and development, I talked about the speed of development. When it comes to dollars, we're at 24,000 per capita. The US is at 50,000, nominally speaking, but China is at 12,000. When it comes to education in general, I have been involved in that for over 40-something years. How do you embrace new technologies spontaneously? Do you use ChatGPT? A bit. To check my students when sometimes they write papers. I want to check if they're using ChatGPT. So I have to ask such questions that not even AI can come up with answers. So we still need to focus on critical analysis. And it doesn't have this model. Seminars can be written like that, but not our papers. Therefore, I would like to see more of oral exams where we can talk to our students live. When looking at Western education and our people leaving because they can find a job here, they can maybe earn 1,000, 1,500 euros. They have our education and they cannot find employment here. But these same people with our education go to the West and find jobs without a problem, and they have a salary that it's 2 or 3 times bigger. But the fault is not due to education, but inefficient organization of the state. The last Nobel Prize winner says that the problem of development of a state are institutions. So we are actually extinguishing fires. And institution is an army as well. But we have various institutions from various areas. And these institutions work 24/7, 365 days a week. But we have destroyed that. We did not adapt that to market economy. We always said market will solve everything. But no, market will not take care of itself. So kids are good today. I think they learn in school and privately as well. I just want to touch upon this issue of how much modern technology affects education. I am accountant by profession, so ICC is a global exam. And when they first asked ChatGPT to solve this exam, it managed to achieve 20% of correct answers, and now it can achieve 90%. Now it's hard to be better than this AI, and I agree that this access to this approach to education needs to be focused on what you want to achieve, and it is necessary for these new technologies to coexist with new generations. We are not even aware of how new digital tools will impact our operations. We talked about a generation that was born in this era, and of course, changes will be huge, and education system needs to adapt to all this in the best possible way. I think we call them beta generation, yes. But they will moderate it. Their panels will be moderated by some robot, not me, for example. Okay, our time is coming to an end. We are here in a county that won this award for European Entrepreneurial Region 2025. So I would like to, for us to give some advice to this region, how to maintain this competitiveness. What would be your recommendations? Just to continue doing what they're doing. Yes. And I asked Ciro what he's going to say to Dalic. I also have to say the same. Maybe I pushed Željko to become county prefect. I visited many factories in this area, in the entire Croatia, and of course bars, many bars here. And I come from Donja Stubica. I organize some gatherings and social events as well, so I like this area, this region. But there used to be an agency here when I was a minister. I think Siniša Hajdaš was the manager of this developmental agency, and they won the award as the best agency in Croatia. I'm not sure, but I think so. And I would just like to tell them to continue doing what they're doing. So yes, education is important, and second step is the focus of education, because if it's scattered everywhere, it won't give best results or the outcomes. We will not have an innovation product. And Draghi also mentioned this. Below 30% of innovations are achieved in Europe, and as he compares everything to China and US, it happens there much more. But I see that there are very good roots here, established here, so I think you should just continue what you're doing, and also be in line with what is happening in Europe and the world. I think what is happening in the US will calm down by the, I don't know, May or June. Croatia and this county will not be directly affected, but indirectly they will. So you also have to have in mind this global perspective and try to stay competitive within European framework, but also the global framework, and also maintain your region above average. You also come from this region. Yes, I like this part very much, and I'm very subjective. I'm truly happy to be here today. I went to a primary and secondary school here in Krapina, and then I went to Zagreb to study at the university, and I'm truly grateful for everything that this county has given me, and I'm proud of it. And this is the right way to be competitive at the global and regional level. This county has also given me a lot and many of the competencies that I have, and I see here my former students. I see some people who are my also friends from high school and classmates, and I am glad to see that we can connect and integrate Krapina-Zagorje County with global trends in education. So, except for being entrepreneurial region, it also provided a dean of the Faculty of Economics. And okay, Mr. Jurčić, when looking at this entire Draghi's report, what should Croatia specifically should focus on and have in mind as an EU member state? The first 70 pages. There's his speech on the first 10 pages, and then general notes on the 70, and then 300-something pages. This is a functional and sectoral analysis, not only Croatia, but each county should take a look at the sectors that he proposed and how he proposed to develop these sectors. He has a banking approach. He thinks we will give money and everything will be well. That's not really true. Money comes fifth or sixth, but we are quite fiscally restrained on these billions that we propose every year. We need to see what the priorities for financing are, and we need to prepare our institutions to be able to draw as much money as possible. But also we need to have in mind the economy and Croatian citizens. This is like comes to drawing funds, but then we bring it down to the micro level. So through institutions, implementation through the economy, having in mind specificities of Croatia and each region, and we should not always wait for Europe and how much money it wants to give us, but we also need to produce new technologies and prepare for the future ourselves. Now, all these other things are way too complicated to go into right now. And Jan Tibergen received an award in '79, and they did not mention technology. They just said new technology. And in the Nobel Prize winners after him talked about managing the state. And so the science that exists in the books, and we are teaching it at the faculty, but it's not being applied in Croatian administration. We all saw this Draghi's report. What would you focus on when it comes to Croatia? What could be used in Croatia's case? From the aspect of education, what is the biggest challenge for us in this context are demographic trends. This is something that there's no way for us to replace that in any other way. So human capital. And from my perspective, also research and the fact that the faculties and academia must serve the economy in the sense that they need to deal with some problems, economic problems, and they need to find a way to improve a business society. I'm afraid that if we spend our resources on something that is not useful to the economy, I'm afraid that then this is money wasted. We are promoting ourselves as a tourist destination. We are very successful there, and I think in the future we have to work more on creating Croatia as a good education destination. And it should become competitive to all other global faculties.
Moj odgovor na prethodno pitanje, ima tamo čitavo poglavlje, dostatno.
My question. So Croatia needs to use this to be self-sufficient in food and energy. This is a whole chapter in the Draghi's report. I think this is a topic for another separate panel discussion. Please give a big applause for my guests. I hope we were interesting enough, and thank you again for participating. Thank you to distinguished panelists, Professor Sanja Sever-Mališ and Professor Ljubo Jurčić for their insights and propositions and proposals for strengthening competitiveness. If you agree, please give another applause for our panel discussion guests, so you agree. We will continue for the program. Why did we receive this award? We will hear from Helena Matoša, Director or CEO Entrepreneurial Center of Krapinsko-zagorske County. She will give us the reasons why Krapinsko-zagorske County received this award in 2025, along with some concrete measures. We will hear her in the next 15 minutes. We always meet each other in these innovative locations. Dear President, dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm really glad that I will be able to share this enthusiasm that we received this award, also to present concrete activities that we will be implementing. After Draghi's report, I will take you to McDonald's. For you who know me well, I was waiting for an opportunity to talk about McDonald's because I adore it. In November last year, I participated SME Assembly in Budapest, which is one of the biggest events for entrepreneurs and policymakers in the economic sector. And we always hear the so-called Schumpeter lecture. This is the opening lecture. And last year, Professor Johan Wiklund, professor researcher in the field of entrepreneurship, he's at the School of Management, Syracuse University, New York. He started the lecture by talking about the McDonaldization concept in the context of the entrepreneurship. This term is used often to describe global spread of the same speed service principles. So when you come to McDonald's anywhere in the world, you will find the same colors, same architecture, same manner of service, same quality, same way the employees talk to you. But when we talk about entrepreneurial ecosystems. The concept of McDonaldization is a critic of replicating same models without taking into account local specifics, local culture, local and regional strengths. For example, Wiklund mentions that when you enter any incubator anywhere in the world, they have the same motivation messages. Also, he mentions that we often use same jargon, runway, all over the world. They have created their own language in these entrepreneurial monocultures. But what Wiklund proposes is to create a unique entrepreneurial ecosystem that will use our regional strengths, our specificities within the same territory, and that it will not only push entrepreneurs to develop innovations, it will push them to work on growth and innovation that will respond to the specificities of the communities they are in. But what does this ecosystem looks like? First, this is an ecosystem is where they have access to resources and support for R&D, but they also have access to tailored financial instruments that will enable to commercialize their innovations. When you wonder what does McDonald's, Wiklund, and a unique entrepreneurial ecosystem have in common, the Committee of Regions, by awarding this title of the European Entrepreneurial Region, has confirmed that this entrepreneurial ecosystem, like Krapinsko-zagorske county has been building for years, follows these Wiklund's recommendations for creating a unique entrepreneurial ecosystem. A long time ago, we have decided that in the county we will not copy, we will create. So this title that we share with our colleagues from Spain and Poland, we became a part of the community of 39 regions and 17 countries of the EU. Colleague Vladka, in the introduction, said that this title is awarded based on certain strategy that we proposed or have written in our application is based on three main pillars. These are digital transformation, also in pursuing innovation and financing, and investment in business and public infrastructure. I think we can agree that these three pillars are not different from any other strategic focus from any other region in Croatia and also in the EU. But what's important to point out is that there are two main bases due to which we have differentiated our county from others. First basis is partnership. When we applied for this title, we applied in partnership with our long-time friends in Krapinsko-zagorske county. We said that we will implement this strategy together, everyone within the framework of their own activities. This is a partnership that has been going on for years, and is based on open dialogue and honest communication, and we jointly plan all activities that will be implemented. Second element, due to which within this strategy we have differentiated from others, and the activities that will be implemented in 2025 that will contribute to realizing our strategy. These activities, through our action plan, have been harmonized with our main pillars of our strategy. So we have a sector of digital transformation, then innovation and financing, creating sustainable business and public infrastructure. But in the sector of digitalization, cities that are all our partners in the realization of this strategy in Krapinsko-zagorske County will be working on developing broadband infrastructure. We've heard from Mrs. Tüttő in the introductory part that this available digital infrastructure is very important for creating. This is what's happening currently in our county. This infrastructure will allow for the business sector, for the citizens to access easily to different technologies and to use this technology more easily, and also but to use them in business processes. On the other side, the county as an institution will develop a new set of e-services for citizens, but also for the business community. It will be an upgrade of the already existing digitalization system. This will include general but also tailored e-services, for example, for our agricultural sector. In the second part, regarding innovation and encouraging investments, we will have Zagorje Inno voucher. I will mention this again later, but what we will work on is financial lab. When talking with the dean today, a huge emphasis will be on financial literacy of elementary and high school students, so they will know what income is, what remains from income, but we will also have open conversation about NFTs, digital currencies, trading, robo-advisors in different financial platforms, to create modern citizens who are prepared for modern developed financial market. Also, entrepreneurial center as a holder of this strategy through Sprint program will be working with 42 startups in this region. These startups are developing innovations in tourism sector, health industry, but also the sector that Dr. Domac mentioned. The sector for introducing energy efficiency in production processes. As regards to revitalization of this area, regeneration, we've heard, is an example of how to revitalize an area. There are other areas in our county. We plan to connect them into entrepreneurial mini-hubs to use existing infrastructure. We are talking about community homes, tourist centers, cultural centers, libraries that are free to become an entrepreneurial nests, especially primarily in rural areas of this county. Regarding the last part that I mentioned, related to creating this public and business sustainable infrastructure, here primarily we lean on the partnership with Energy Climate Agency that we've heard from Dr. Domac is creating living labs all over the county. But now I would like to go back to that part, innovation and supporting investments, what we are planning through Zagorje InnoVoucher for 2025. Of course, as I've mentioned at the beginning, we have three main pillars: innovations, digitalization, and energy efficiency. And these measures have been programmed for this. Within innovation pillar, we will talk with entrepreneurs by using our different chambers, Chamber of Economy, Chamber of Craftsmanship, and so on, because craftsmen and entrepreneurs have a bit of a problem to access these EU funds that we've heard within the SPIN program, and therefore we created a special program for encouraging, like a chain with that is made of three parts. First part will provide support for connection with the academic community. Second part will be prototyping to create first series of products and services that need to be tested to become commercially ready to enter the market. And in the third part of this chain, third link, will be supported by Discounted, is creating a patent. Very often when we work with startups, but also with, let's call them adult companies, grown-up companies, is protection of intellectual property is often lacking, or they forget about it to protect intellectual property. And this is this protecting intellectual property is kind of a wall that protects that company. In the past, you need to have defense walls to defend from your enemies. So companies need to create a defense wall to additionally protect from their competitors. And one of the mechanisms to do so is to create a patent to protect intellectual property, in what our county will assist through this mechanism, InnoVoucher, Zagorje InnoVoucher. As a part of digitalization, we work with some startups that are developing specific solutions for startup. Here we expect that some technologies will be applied in companies in Krapinsko-zagorske county by automatization to create additional value. What we've also noticed that we need, especially when talking about traditional crafts, is creating certain online presence, creating online sales channels. This second part, Zagorje InnoVoucher, will be focused on providing support in developing digital marketing strategies, but also creating these online sales channels to expand their markets. And in the end, we have vouchers for energy efficiency in production, but also we mean software solutions that can follow the production and propose cost savings and thus reduce the footprint that is created during the production. I believe that this short presentation for this voucher, you can understand that our county is following the setups of that Wiklund mentioned at the beginning, that we have really adapted our measures and all activities that we'll be implementing by the end of 2025. We have adapted them to all the specificities of our system. And in the end, I would like to say thank you to all of you for being here today, because by being here, you have agreed to be a part of our story and together realize this strategy with us by the end of 2025 through investing in the modernization of production and manufacturing, creating additional value, and the public sector will contribute by giving additional support to raising quality of life. And through this symbiosis, I am certain that this title of the European Entrepreneurial Region is completely true. Thank you to Mrs. Helena Matusha for presenting the measures coming from the county to support entrepreneurs. This county, as we all know, is a county with prosperity, has ambitious goals, and in the end, it won this title. It is my extreme pleasure to announce our next speaker, person who has led this county for the last 12 years. A warm welcome for the prefect, Mr. Željko Kolar.
Good afternoon, everybody. President, dear guests and friends. Today, for all of us from Krapinsko-zagorske County, it is a great pleasure to be able to organize this summit, to be able to gather all of you here and celebrate for us a great event and experience, the fact that Zagorje Krapinsko County has been awarded this award, or the title of the European Entrepreneurial Region 2025. And we're also among the top small regions for investing, for attracting investments and for good life. And this, of course, makes us proud. Unlike the statistics mentioned by Professor Jurčić and the Dean, we can say that our greatest strength are our people and entrepreneurs and business entities, as well as craftsmen. We have around 180% coverage of import-export for each euro. So euro and 80 cents for each euro that we import or export. We are proud with our renewable sources, green policies, and digitization, and we did that much faster and actually earlier than our entire state. And we have almost 42,000 people who are employed, and I think an unemployment rate is 3%. And this enabled us to turn to some projects that we would not be able to do in all conditions, in all circumstances. And European funds also enabled us to start dreaming about implementation of some projects that we wouldn't be able to do ourselves. Listening to our President Milanovic, who keeps saying, this will not go on forever. Make the best use of each euro that you have at your disposal. And this is what we have been doing for 2 years. And we have drawn the highest amount per capita in Croatia. We are trying to create a symbiosis between education and our business operators and entities to create staff for the labor market and not for Croatian employment service. And so when we have CNC operators that are employed by one company, then we also organize 2 more groups of students to educate for the same profession because we are listening to the needs of the labor market. We also have 550 scholarships issued by our county. This is the highest number in Croatia. And these scholarships are higher for these professions that are high in demand. And we are financing students that are educating themselves for the professions that we need. We had good analysis a couple of years ago of the present condition, and we knew very well what we will need in the future. And it is not without reason that through continuity of our efforts, and thanks to our human capacities in Regional Energy Agency and Development Agency and Entrepreneurial Center, we managed to achieve what we did. As a county, okay, this is not our primary goal, but I'm trying to manage it as a manager, not as a politician. So in 2025 and 2026, we will have 200 million euros of investments, 20 million euros into special rehabilitation hospital, almost the same amount into special hospital in Stubičke, Toplice, also millions in education and entertainment center, and 20 million in the education center for children with special needs, and additional millions of investments into schools and sports halls. So we have business zones that directly aid the development of our economy. We also pride ourselves in the fact that we are a county issuing permits very quickly, so our administration is very quick. So all those who were developing something have received strong support from our county, primarily in issuing building permits, so that in the moment when they decided to invest, they were able to do that with as least administrative burdens as possible. And we are asking the Republic of Croatia to expand our jurisdiction because we know best what we need in our country. We know the priorities of our economy. We know what we need and want from education, and we are those who will be able to organize ourselves within the county easier than at the level on the state level. We are a small country, but it's difficult to create common conditions that can be equally applicable in Dubrovnik, Slavonia, and northern Croatia, which is the most potent part of Croatia. And I think that the fact that we don't have a big center, our county seat is the smallest seat in Croatia, but we developed Zabok, Stubica, Pregrada. All these places developed their zones, and the decentralization of the state is a necessity if we want to move forward in attracting investments. For me, local or foreign investor are at the same level. It doesn't make any difference if they have high-quality programs, if they have new technologies, if they're creating additional values, and if this will result in bigger salaries for our people. And this is what we want. We want to create such a climate in Krapinsko-zagorske County in which our entrepreneurs will feel better. And there is no better recommendation than when the director of Petropak, Teropomk and Aquafil and Dunapak, all these companies, transfer their experiences to their colleagues who are thinking about investing in Krapinsko-zagorske County. And our platform that we created with our own forces, our own knowledge, Invest in Zagorje, has raised big interest from foreign investors, but also local investors, because in one place, clicking 2 or 3 times, they can find all the information they need to make the decision to invest. And we heard about global trends from our Dean and Ljubo. And taking all these trends into account, they think whether to invest here or no. If they click 2 or 3 times on this platform, they can see how infrastructure is developed here, what schools are in the environment, what kind of staff we have. And this is everything that we can impact on in order to be competitive. We cannot affect the price of electricity or gas or oil, but we can affect everything that we have mentioned. And what Julia said in his presentation and what Helena and Vlatka also mentioned, we never waited for the state to initiate something. We were always the first ones to initiate things. This only proves that if you have strong, good people, if you have people you invest in, if you have people who develop their knowledge, and if you give them the chance to show their creativity and knowledge, and if you're not afraid to invest, and if you're not afraid to be a bit different than others, then you can succeed. And this is the key and why we have been recognized. The people, the team of people I mentioned in the agencies, but all these directors of healthcare institutions, secondary and primary schools, who have great collaboration with Chamber of Crafts, Chamber of Economy, and when we all sit together, we sit down as a team, regardless of who is making decisions about what. We are aware of our jurisdiction, our competencies, and what we can do, and where we have to take responsibility. Thank you to Marko Veštegaj, who in these couple of months in the European Commission and before that at the Committee of the Regions, who also brought Ms. Tüttő here. He linked us with various institutions and bodies in these committees, and he helped us to show that even from smaller regions, we can have people who can feel the pulse of all other people. We also talked about digitization and robotization. I thought Helena would mention that, but she didn't. We have introduced this into our high school in Krapina. Well, if you come to Entrepreneurial Center, you will not be welcomed by our people because they will be working on new innovations and technologies, but you will be welcomed by a robot. But people working on concrete things and people who are in contact with people. I believe that smart intelligence will never be able to replace a human being. We have to see how to use it in the best possible way to make these transitional tasks easier for us. But people have always been and will stay first for me. I would like to thank to all those who are our partners on this project and on all other projects that we have been developing in Krapinsko-zagorske County. And this is a huge obligation for us. This is a huge obligation because we want to justify this title that we won. We implemented a number of measures. No, we created a number of measures that will be implemented in 2025. And also, we are impatiently waiting for Financial Times assessment for 2024 to see. So this 6th place that we won and everything that we did in 2024, will we go up or down, Or are we going to disappear from this list? But only continuity is what matters. Thank you. Thank you, our country prefect, Mr. Željko Kolar, for his inspirational words and clear vision of development for Zagorje Krapina County. Today we felt how important it is to nurture partnership in achieving goals, and this will bring about better future for Krapina-Zagorje County. I believe such summits and such events will lead us to prosperity. We have reached the end of the summit. We heard about global and regional trends and competitiveness, sustainable development, and specific measures that Krapina-Zagorje County has been implementing as Entrepreneurial Region 2025. On behalf of Krapina-Zagorje County, County Prefect Željko Kolar, Deputy County Prefect Jasna Petek, and the President of the County Assembly, Mr. Zlatko Šorša, I would like to thank everyone for their engagement, presence, and contribution to today's summit. We invite you to continue to transform this positive energy into concrete projects and collaborations that will make our region even more successful. Now, we invite you to network, and it will take place on the 3rd floor of this building. We will stay here. No, I did not understand that well. We are going to a different building and 3rd floor of this other building. Okay. If you were using a headset, don't worry what to do with them, just leave them on your seats, and then we have people who are going to deal with that. And see you again, I hope in a similar or in this place, which will be urban and very cool. So not this building, other building, we will be led by somebody. Enjoy, and dear President, thank you for coming.